Hey, what's up guys, Dave from CarNewba Detailing. In today's video we're going to be talking about iron remover, specifically extreme iron remover from McKee's 37. I'm going to show you guys how I use it on the rim of your vehicle and then also go over a few other things regarding these types of products. But before we do that, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, and then comment below what type of iron remover do you typically use or what iron removers you're interested in maybe trying out in the near future, okay? Besides that, thank you for watching this intro. Let's jump straight into it. Alright guys, so let's first talk about what is iron contamination. Now, iron contamination is very simple. It's just iron particles that get stuck into your clear coat, your rims, and surfaces such as that. Where does it come from? It can come from anything from brake dust, local construction sites, railroad tracks is something that you need to pay attention to when it comes to iron fallout and contamination, especially on new vehicles on dealership lots, because majority of the vehicles nowadays are transported via railroad or semi-truck or something of that nature. So you do have a lot of this contamination on brand new vehicles. Now, why do you want to remove it from the surface of your vehicle is another question that we need to answer. Well, iron particles are very jagged when it comes to the edges of the actual particle itself. If you look at it at a microscopic level, they have very jagged edges, so if you're doing anything mechanical to the surface, like claying the surface or anything like that, you'll notice that you might mar the surface even more because of that contamination from the iron fallout. Another thing you run into is rusting. What happens is that iron gets stuck into your clear coat or your rim, it starts rusting over, and it could cause those orange dots that you see on a lot of lighter colored vehicles. And you know, you leave that there long enough, it's going to eat away at the clear coat and cause pitting in your clear coat and damage it overall, and you can't reverse that type of damage when it does take place. So these are all things that we want to keep in mind and educate ourselves on, and that is why we have products such as Extreme Iron Remover, CarPro Iron X, and stuff like that to go ahead and take care of it. Alright guys, so I got you guys focused on the rim of the Volvo over here. Now, typically when I'm doing an Iron X or any type of iron removal process, I will go ahead with brake buster or some type of degreaser to clean this off. And the reason why I do that is because I want my iron fallout remover to be at its best when it comes to cleaning the wheel. So if there's any dirt, grime, and stuff I can get rid of with another product, I'll do that first, and then I'll go ahead and use my iron remover so it has its maximum potential of removing the actual iron from the surface, because that's all this stuff does, guys. You can use it as a wheel cleaner at the end of the day, yes, but that's a super expensive wheel cleaner because a gallon of this stuff comes at around $80 to $100, so you got to keep that in mind. So what I do is I go ahead, degrease it, I use brake buster to clean it off the best I can, and then I'll come at it with my iron remover. Now, what I do, guys, I grab these really cheap bottles. You can find these at the dollar store or whatever. Reason being, the iron remover just makes everything smell like crap. And all of the iron removers pretty much smell like crap. And the reason why is because they all use the same type of chemical in order to go ahead and remove the iron particles. They all smell bad and they all turn purple or red. It's the same type of chemical in all these products. The difference is the quantity of that chemical that they utilize in the actual product itself, and that's why sometimes you find different price points too. Now, when you spray this onto the surface, it's going to stick, it's going to cling on, okay? Just like any other quality wheel cleaner or degreaser. But after a few seconds, you'll notice that all the iron particles are not being dissolved necessarily, they're being loosened up by the chemical process, okay? And they start turning purple just like that. Now, the reason why I like McKee's iron remover is it comes at a pretty good price. I won't say it's the cheapest on the market, but it's not as expensive as some other iron removers out there, but it reacts real quick. So because it reacts so fast, it's telling me that they are using a good amount of whatever chemical is in there in order to go ahead and get rid of those iron particles off the surface. So what you're seeing right now is the actual process taking place. The iron is being lifted and changed in format so you can go ahead and rinse it off the surface. Alright guys, so as I go ahead and rinse off the excess solution and residue from the surface, I'm going to talk to you guys about the process I go through when utilizing my iron remover. So basically I would go around all four wheels and degrease them or use brake buster to clean them up as I always would. After that, I go ahead and hit it with my iron remover. The reason I do that is so I can get all that gunk off the surface of the rim and let that iron remover penetrate and get to the actual iron deposits that are embedded into whatever clear coat, whatever I'm working on. Speeds up the process. You use less product that way. So basically I start with one rim and then I work my way around. By the time I get to the last rim with my iron remover, I can come back to the first one and rinse it off, and you're pretty much set to go. You can go ahead and agitate with a brush if you would like, but I find that already degreasing everything with a quality wheel cleaner like brake buster, you don't even really need. Now here's an example of a painted surface that I sprayed my iron remover on and let dwell for around 2 minutes or so. As you can see, we have little iron contamination on this panel, which is great. We do have a few spots here and there that start to turn purple, but no big deal at all. After you leave it on the surface for a few minutes, all you gotta do is rinse it off and you're set to go. Alright, so now that we've seen the effects of the iron removal process on the rim and some other areas of the vehicle, we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the importance of utilizing this on your painted surfaces. Now again guys, you're going to have iron fallout from all types of sources, whether it be railroad tracks, brake dust, fallout from factories or construction sites nearby. So you want to make sure you go ahead and take care of those. But also take in consideration that if you are a detail, this is a service you do have to charge extra for. This is, I wouldn't say an expensive product, but far higher in price point than most of your other chemicals that you're utilizing, and you're still going to have to go through a lot of the solution in order to cover a whole vehicle. So I would say almost a bottle needs to be utilized on a large SUV like the Volvo or a pickup truck or something like that to cover your rims and the rest of the painted surfaces as well properly. So you're looking at $20 to $30 right there just in product alone being utilized on one vehicle. So you have to take that into consideration. I don't do an iron removal process until I get to my ceramic coating services for the most part, unless my customer asks me to go through one, or if I suggest that they should have one if I notice any type of pitting or anything on the vehicle's clear coated surfaces, alright? So, where does this fall into my process? I typically, if I am doing an iron removal process, I would go ahead and do it prior to my mechanical decontamination, and I'll tell you exactly why. The reason why I do that is because if I can remove any type of contamination off the surface of the vehicle chemically without me touching it necessarily, I'm going to do that because that lessens the likelihood of me marring the surface during my clay bar treatment or any other type of mechanical decontamination. So that's something you can keep in mind. One question that you're probably asking yourself is, how do I know if my vehicle needs to get this type of treatment? Well, first things first, I would say just do it anyways. Pretty much any vehicle out there has some type of iron contamination on the surface, and if you do leave that contamination on there long enough, like I said, it's going to start rusting over and then pitting itself inside of the clear coat in your painted surfaces and also your rims. Sometimes you notice rims, they have some type of kind of like pits to them, like grooves or indentations. That is because iron fallout has made its way into the clear coat of the actual rim and start pitting itself inside of the clear coat, causing that type of effect. So if you want to avoid that, make sure to get your vehicle iron X treated or iron removal treated, whatever you want to call it. I find it a very important thing to do for your vehicle overall. One last important question I'm going to answer for you guys is, do you need to utilize this stuff very frequently or go through this process on a regular basis? And the answer to that question is no. Just like claying your vehicle, you only need to utilize an iron removal process when it needs to be used. So you don't have to do this every week or after every wash or every year necessarily, as long as you're properly maintaining your protected vehicle, alright? Make sure you have some type of protection on your car, ceramic coating, a quality polymer sealant, and you won't have to be doing this all the time as long as you're maintaining that form of protection throughout as well. Only use it when it needs to be used. Alright guys, as you can see, an iron remover is something you do want in your arsenal when it comes to your decontamination process. I'm not saying that it is a necessity all the time, but when it comes to certain levels of decontamination and detailing, depending on how clean you want to get that surface, you are going to want this stuff on hand. clay barring and other forms of decontamination are not necessarily going to remove those iron contaminations off the surface of your vehicle. So make sure to have a gallon or a bottle on hand. Comment below which one you have in your arsenal when it comes to your iron remover. Besides that, make sure to hit that subscribe button, leave me a thumbs up, and also hit that notification button if you want to watch some future videos, okay? Thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of the day.